So before I get into this, I know a lot of people are going to say, Cyber, what are you complaining about? You do versus matchups too. Yes, but I'm here to talk about many of the mistakes people make when talking about versus debates. Two major problems I see is one, when somebody uses fallacies to back up their statements, and they don't use their lore and take it into consideration, or they might take their lore into consideration too much and make a character untouchable. Or two, they don't like a series and will make every excuse to justify how their character is better, even though they don't know anything about the other series. I've seen it and been through it more times than I can count. Something for people to keep in mind when doing a versus debate is knowing when to use a series lore or not. An example of when to use it is when you're talking about something like All For One from My Hero Academia taking on just about any other character from another franchise. Well, obviously he can take powers away, but it can't be done to anybody that doesn't have a quirk. So taking away any other form of ability just doesn't work. For another example, let's say you put Muzan Kibuchuji from Demon Slayer against anyone who isn't a Demon Slayer. Well, you now have to take into account the fact that he cannot be killed by anybody who doesn't have the ability to use the sun, or who doesn't have a Nichirin sword to slice his neck. Now obviously this can get messy, like when scaling Bleach characters where no one can see the person. But this is an example of when you would set the lore aside, otherwise the characters are just untouchable. Versus debates can be a difficult, muddy path to walk, but you have to take a bunch of things into account. Now there is one thing I don't do, and that's give specific numbers when scaling a character. The issue with doing this is, people will come up with different numbers every time. It's just the human error to do so. So you circumvent this by giving a general sense of what someone can do. Say for example, someone dodges a light attack. Well, then you say the person has faster than light reaction speeds. However, I'm not going to give an exact number because characters will not be consistently that fast with every form of their movement. They aren't going to move exactly that fast all the time. It's just their max output. Speaking of speed, one of the biggest problems I see when people are trying to do speed feats is they don't take into account the fact that there is 3 different types of speeds to take into account: movement speed, reaction speed, and combat speed. Just because somebody can move at the speed of light doesn't mean that person can attack that fast, because that takes dexterity, which isn't the same as using your legs to move. Or it's not going to be the same when trying to react to an attack either. Now, quite possibly the biggest fallacy one can make is giving somebody a no limits fallacy. Now, a no limits fallacy, for people who don't know what that is saying that a person is so strong that they don't seem to have any limit, therefore no one can beat them. One of the biggest problems with seeing debates like this is seeing characters like One Punch Man face anybody. One Punch Man has never seen a consistent limit to what he can do. So putting him at any sort of versus matchup just isn't fair to the person he's fighting, because we haven't seen a limit for him. Another big fallacy I've seen people use is what I like to refer to as the linear fallacy. This suggests that if character A can beat character B, and character B can beat character C, then it would only make sense for character A to also beat character C. Things are not a linear line. This is more like a rock, paper, scissors situation. It's Pokemon. People have their own strengths and weaknesses and can exploit other people's weaknesses better than others. Last thing I'll bring up is this. Don't use composite characters when debating. For those unaware of what those are, a composite character is when you take a character from all appearances that they've ever been in, including non-canon materials or alternate appearances, and jam them together into one entity. This creates a very problematic and messy character debate. For example, Link from Legend of Zelda. He has multiple incarnations of himself throughout the series. Each version of Link has his own sets of strengths and weaknesses. Therefore, it would make no sense to put a composite Link into a debate, because he'll be overpowered and contradictory. So when going into a versus debate, be very cautious when talking about something. Make sure you know both characters to the best of your ability, because even though I made this video, I still make mistakes too. But I acknowledge them and try my best to correct them in future videos. And I try my best to not contradict my statements. Anyways, that's all I have for this rant. Do you guys agree or disagree? Why or why not? Leave me all your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and consider subscribing for more videos if you guys enjoyed. And hit that notification bell for more videos like this. Also, check out all my other socials in the description. And until next time, guys, stay hype, stay awesome, stay weird, and be nice to each other. I'm Saboteur Werewolf, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.